Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming James Lorinz. You may remember him, he played the would-be Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenhooker, the 1990 cult classic. And he also played Brett Weir in the Jerky Boys movie, one of my all-time favorites. And he was in King of New York, Last Exit to Brooklyn, and a couple others. I'm going to have him on the show today. He's a true, consummate New York actor, and I can't wait to have him on today and stuff. I tried to interview Frankenhooker herself, Patty Mullen, a few weeks ago, and she became the first guest to ever hang up on me, which is why the interview was never posted. So I'm going to find out about the making of the movie and possibly get some closure. So, here is my interview with James Lorinz. Hey, James.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm all right. How was your day?
Pretty ordinary.
Well, what's ordinary for you?
Just uneventful.
So did you work? Did you stay home? What'd you do?
Stayed home, prepared for tonight. Didn't really do much.
Well, did you make Did you make breakfast or lunch, or?
I did make breakfast and lunch, and I'm going to make dinner later on.
What's on the menu for dinner?
Might make a couple hamburgers.
You mean, do you have a grill outside, or you'll make them in a frying pan?
George Foreman grill.
Oh, okay. Well, that's like right in the middle there.
Yeah. Middle ground between barbecue and grill.
Where is 530? What town are you in?
Redding, California.
Is that up north, like north of San Francisco?
It's 3.5 hours away from San Francisco and 2 hours away from Sacramento.
Oh. Is that where you're from originally, or?
No, I'm originally from San Francisco.
Yeah, I got married in San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah. I'm divorced now, but I got married there.
Well, my condolences on both.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, this is such an honor, James. I appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the delay. I was kind of away, and then I kind of forgot stuff. But anyway, at least we're in touch now.
Yeah, this happens often. You know, life gets in the way, and I always have to reschedule. So, going back to the beginning, was acting something that you were drawn to early on?
Now, are we recording now?
Yes.
All right, just want to make sure, because I gotta be careful what I say, because I'm under a subpoena right now.
I do editing, so.
All right, because if I mention any names, I'm being investigated by the Southern District of New York. But
wow,
I'm only kidding. I'm not being investigated. I wish I was being investigated. It means somebody would be interested in knowing my dirty deeds.
Well, we all got those.
All right, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so going back to the beginning, was acting something that you were drawn to early on?
Yes. When we were kids, I had a good friend of mine, Victor Triol, and I, when we were like in 6th grade, we got a hold of a Super 8 movie camera. Mm-hmm. We started like making movies, and of course, no sound, but we started, trying to make little films, and then, as the years went by, we got into sound, and we would act in the films ourselves because we didn't know anything about about what acting really was. We just did it ourselves, and
right.
And really wanted to be a filmmaker, and went to film school of visual arts, in New York City. And one of the courses you have to take as a filmmaker major is an acting class, so you can learn how to direct actors. How to that was the point of the class. And I met a man there named Bob Brady who kind of encouraged me. I kind of enjoyed expressing myself that way. I was not a technical person, and a lot of filmmaking is very technical, learning, lenses and film theory and, all this other stuff. And I was just kind of got a chance to perform. And so I was always interested in it, yes.
Nice. So you started out making those short films, but then later on after high school, you studied acting in New York?
I did. I studied I didn't go to a real major school. I tried to get into the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is what my teacher at School of Visual Arts was trying to get me into. But I had wasted, I took student loans out to go to the film school. And I kind of didn't have much more to go. But I did study with him, Bob Brady, and he had a private acting class that he taught acting for film specifically. And then theater, I studied with a guy named James Jennings, who runs a place called the American Theater of Actors. It's been around like forever. It's west side of Manhattan. And, they only produce original plays, and he's got his own playwriting unit. And, it's real bare minimum theater, but it was a good place to learn,
So then you started doing community theater and all that?
No, I didn't. I couldn't get in any community theater. I got lucky right away. When I was in school, one of my teachers, one of my professors, was Roy Frumkus, and he was producing a movie called Street Trash.
Right.
And it was, he knew I'd left school to become an actor, and he wanted to give me to help me out. And he said, "Listen, we wrote a little scene for you. You have one line, and we'd like you to be in the movie to help get you started." And I was very appreciative of it, And I had like one line, and I practiced it, and I, worked on different things, at props and everything. And then the night that we shot the movie, the scene, I got to meet the other actor, Tony Darrow, who's, did you see the movie?
I haven't seen the movie in many years.
Well, and there's no point in talking about it. Let's put it this way. That was a big help to me because from that movie, it got reviewed in a lot of big places, and my name sort of got mentioned along with everybody else in the Times and Playboy magazine, and I was able to get an agent from that scene. I got it on tape.
Wow.
And so I started working right away. I said, this is easy. Wow, what a great thing,
That's amazing.
And so there wasn't any real struggle in the beginning. I mean, there was a couple of years, but I was auditioning for big projects and meeting big directors, and it was really, really something, And then I got Frankenhooker, and that was
1990?
Came out in 1990, but it was really 1989 we shot it, like 88, 89, I believe.
But before that, though, did you do Last Exit to Brooklyn?
Well, that was before Frankenhooker. Yeah, that was my first little film I did. I got into the Screen Actors Guild with that part. And did you see that one?
Yeah.
Good. Even if you're lying, I appreciate it. That was great because that was my first real, experience being on a real set. It was actually a foreign film, that movie. It was directed by a German director named Uli Edel. He was known for a film called Christian F. That was made in Germany. It's got a lot of, it was a pretty powerful film about a teenage prostitute. And, so he adapted this book by Hubert Selby. The book is pretty interesting. It was banned, in this country when it first came out, and because of the subject matter. It's about Brooklyn, but it's also about sexual awareness and sexual deviations. It's a pretty, powerful book. And
yeah.
And only a German could try to put that on the screen.
Yeah.
I'll let you. You could insert some laughter there when you're editing.
Yeah.
You put like from Good Times, little laugh track, put something in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie's got some great New York actors in it. Jerry Orbach and Stephen Lang and Burt Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My good friend of mine, John Costello, he plays the biker in the movie that gets married to Ricky Lake, and that was his first film. It was a really interesting group of actors working there. Let me give you a quick story just to let you know about directing and acting.
Okay.
This director, it's a period piece. It takes place in 1950. So I got my hair cut like a 50s, and I'm wearing this clothes from the 40s, and you walk out on the set and it looks like it's 1950. I mean, and there's garbage everywhere, newspapers on the street. I mean, just looks so authentic. It was a set. They built it in Brooklyn, and I'm walking around the set, and I'm like, you don't even have to do anything. You're there. And I picked up one of the papers that was ripped up on the floor, and I'm reading it. And this guy, this nut, had newspapers printed up from 1950 and threw them on the floor, on the street.
Wow.
Realism. Now, nobody was going to know that except him and the actors maybe, or I noticed it. Man, I don't know if anybody else did. But that's pretty cool. That's art there. You know what I mean? Like creating a reality.
Yeah, it's like, you got to take pictures, from like the past and put them in the movie, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, that cult classic, Frankenhooker. So a couple of weeks ago, Patty Mullen became my first guest to ever hang up on me.
Why?
Okay, so we were talking about her Penthouse days, right? And I told her, I'm much more of a Playboy guy than a Penthouse guy. And she asked me why, and I told her, I think that Penthouse is trashy and exploitive, and Playboy is a little more sophisticated and classy. And she did not like that very much. So 3 minutes in, she hung up on me.
Well, I don't like that either. I mean, that's kind of insulting to someone, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I wasn't calling her trashy.
No, but she was in Penthouse. You understand?
Right.
It's like saying, listen, mind you, I don't mind, what you say. Everybody's freedom of the press and everything, but
right.
I can understand how someone could feel insulted by that.
Yeah.
You're interviewing someone and they say, well, why do you like Playboy better than Penthouse? Because I'm Penthouse Bet of the Year. Well, I found it trashy. Oprah or whatever,
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to hang up on you, but I can understand her point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't, trying to be an ass or nothing, but, I just told her, she asked me why, and I told her, But,
did you try to get back to her or apologize? Or?
Yeah, I tried. She didn't want to go with it, but it's fine,
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to be careful today. Very easily to offend people,
Yeah.
Not that we shouldn't say what's on our mind, but especially when it comes to these types of things, interviews, and knowing who you're dealing with. I mean, in my life, I've said things to people that I wish I could take back because I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't aware, and I was like,
Yeah.
I could think of a good example of one right now, but it'll come to me eventually.
Mm-hmm. But how did you get cast in the movie?
Well, I went to an audition that my agent sent me on, and I met the casting director, Carolyn Sinclair, and I just kind of, was winging it. I didn't know what, it was a pretty crazy idea, the movie. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I wanted to get the part. And I did an audition and some improvisation, and I don't know, I guess it was maybe a week or two later, they called back and said the director would like to meet with you. And got to meet with Frank Henenlotter. And he said, listen, I want to use you for the movie. I was like, wow, And then I was like, well, I'm not quite sure what this movie's about. And he kept saying, oh, no, you'll be great. Don't worry about it. And that's how I got it. I was just like a regular audition with, many other. I'm sure many other guys were auditioning. I would love to see who else was up for the role,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I heard Bradley Cooper was up for it.
Really?
But apparently he wanted to direct it too, so they got rid of him.
That's good. I like that. Oh my God. So what did you think of the script?
Well, like I said, I didn't really understand it so much. It was pretty far out there. The script is pretty much what you see on the screen. It was it was a little deviation from it, but the only thing that I had an issue with was when the Jeffrey, the main character, puts a drill into his head, and I kind of questioned that. I was like, well, what's going on here? I didn't know who Frank Henenlotter was. How about that? I didn't realize he was already an established, cult horror film director, and he had a certain reality in his film. You know what I mean? I didn't. Yeah. Of course, it was. Hold on, my father's calling. I want to bring him into this. Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Is anybody on?
Who are you doing a live interview with?
I'm doing a live interview with a guy named Tom Kovac. He's in Redding, California. Tom, say hello to my father.
Hi, Mr. Lorinz. How are you, sir?
Oh, hi, Tom. How are you?
I am spectacular. You got a very funny son.
Yes, I know that. He takes after me.
The nut.
What was that, Jim?
I said the nut doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's correct. It's good to be a nut, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Tom was asking me about the script from Frankenhooker. What did I think of it? And I was telling him the only issue I had was the scene where I put the drill in my head.
That was Why, you didn't like that scene?
No, I just didn't understand it. When you read that on a piece of paper, and you're reading it in a script, and you're trying to understand, why am I doing this? Or what is this? I didn't realize that it was supposed to be like sort of a fantasy. You know what I mean? Like he was such a genius doctor that he could, drill into his head and I guess reach a pleasure point, in his brain.
So they don't write that type of thing in the script.
Well, no, they don't explain it. It just says he puts a drill into his head.
Right. So you have to use your own, while you're doing that, how you're supposed to feel, what's supposed to happen, right?
That's exactly right. And that's what Tom and I were discussing.
Oh, okay. So it's a good discussion, huh?
Does that answer your question, Tom?
Absolutely.
How's the weather there, Tom, out there? It's nice and warm, huh?
No, actually, right now it's very cloudy.
He's in Northern California, north of San Francisco. So so it's kind of like, it's not hot, but it's not freezing,
Yeah. Well, north, that's in wine country then, right?
Yeah.
Northern California?
Yeah, I'm in country town.
Do you make your own wine?
No, I can't even drink wine anymore.
Why not?
I had a car accident, and I was drinking like every day for like 4 years leading up to it, so my insides are all messed up from it.
Oh, okay. Awful.
Yeah.
You mean just wine or alcohol in general, or
all alcohol?
Well, are there any other foods or drinks that you can't have, or?
No, No, I can have anything pretty much, but I can't have alcohol. That will make my liver bleed.
Is it more of a physical, or is it more of an emotional thing?
It's a physical thing. My liver will bleed if I drink any alcohol.
So you had...
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
That's scary.
Yeah.
What year did that happen?
2015.
Oh, my God, that was a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah, it was.
You got to take care of yourself now.
Oh yeah, I'm taking good care of myself. Especially, I had a heart attack during the whole process too. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'll be 36 in June.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're still a baby.
Heart attack and an accident and a bleeding liver. 36 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I was 31 when it happened. Yeah.
Wow. So you're on the mend now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you back to normal? Are you working, or what's going on?
I'm on disability, and I'm pursuing show business.
What do you want to do in show business?
Well, for 13 years overall, I've been doing stand-up comedy. I act. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I want to be a horror host, and I'm working my way through all of those.
Well, great. I mean, really good. I mean, you feel strong now. You can go out and do things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got my strength back and all that, and things are just looking up. I'm so blessed to be here. I was in a coma for 30 days during that whole thing.
Holy chief.
That's a serious accident.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, you're talking to a ghost right now.
Hey, what kind of car were you driving?
I wasn't driving. My now ex-best friend was driving. He was driving an SUV.
You were a passenger.
I was a passenger.
Okay, well, at least you weren't driving and drinking.
No.
How did you two guys meet?
We met through mutual friends like years before that.
Oh, years ago.
Yeah.
And why is he your ex-best friend? Is he still alive, or you just don't talk to him anymore? Or?
He's still alive. I wish he wasn't. He's an asshole. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We went through some legal stuff after it happened, which I won't get into, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, were you able to get some kind of money out of it? I don't know if...
Yeah, I got some.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying, my father and I are looking for an investor, and if you happen to have a few dollars, we might be able to double or triple it for you.
So
There you go.
I wish I had it. It's all gone now.
I just tried to get stand-up comedy. I didn't mean to...
Yeah. But, yeah, so...
Wow. All right. Well, anyway, I don't want to get off track too much. Dad, are we playing pool this weekend?
Well, why don't you and your friend chat for a while, and I'll call you back a little later.
But we're being recorded. This may be a really, really good podcast. Like the father calls in, and we're making a pool date. So what day are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking of Sunday, but I'm not sure yet. It depends on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I got called for jury duty this week. I lost a couple of days of work.
Well, they're not gonna call you for jury on Saturday and Sunday. But there's a snowstorm coming. We're getting 3 to 6 inches tonight, and then Sunday night more. So, all right, let's play on Sunday. If it works out, we'll meet for breakfast at the Nanuet Diner, and then we'll play pool early.
But I'm dismissed already from jury duty.
Oh, okay. So let's.
They couldn't wait to get rid of me.
Yeah. So Sunday, we'll if you want to do it, we'll meet early. I might have something to do in the afternoon, but we can meet for breakfast and play pool.
Okay, so we'll see you on the weather tomorrow. I'll call you tomorrow evening.
All right, Dad. Talk to you later.
All right. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Mr. Lorinz.
You have a good night, huh?
You too, sir.
All right. Jim, I'll talk to you later.
All right, Dad. Good night.
Hasta la vista.
Ya mañana.
Be the same.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, did you hear Sophia talking German?
No.
She talks pretty good German now.
Well, I think you mean Mary Kate, not Sophia.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Mary Kate, because Carl's grandmother's been teaching her.
All right. Well, we'll get the full mind comp, I'm sure, when she gets.
There we go. We can get some information out of her about what's going on over there. You know.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, you know, this is one of those things we had to go with. You can cut all that out if you want, but
no, it's all good.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting that the listeners should know about you too.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, I've told the story a million times on here.
You have?
Yeah.
And how do people get to your podcast? Just on the internet or
on YouTube? Yeah.
Oh, YouTube. Okay. I'll I know you sent me that one. It was very interesting. I listened to it. The guy from
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listened to that one. But I'd like to see, who else have you interviewed? Anybody else that I might know or that you liked or that you thought was a good interview?
Let me see, that you might know. You know PJ Souls.
Yes, yeah, I met her once, yes.
Yes, I've had her on. Tony Timponi.
She didn't hang up on you, did she?
Oh, she loved me. She was laughing the entire time.
She was in Playboy.
Was she in Playboy?
No.
I've interviewed a lot of people, and I got to 400 episodes the other day.
All right, good for you. So You're doing the podcast, you're an actor, you're a stand-up comic, and you're trying to...
be a horror host, yeah.
For you. And you're young enough that you have a full life ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. I sure do. I'm so lucky.
Yeah. You got a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like that accident could have turned out a lot different.
Oh, yeah. It could have turned out a lot different, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind being interviewed by a ghost. Where were we? Where did we leave off? We were talking about
Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker when I thought about it, and I answered it. I liked it. I just didn't understand it.
And you had never seen anything Henn Lauder did before that?
No, I did not. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I do remember is that I guess the reason that I was even in his mind. Mm-hmm. Frank Henn called me. He got my number somehow, and he called me, and he said, I saw you in Street Trash. Again, back to Street Trash. Mm-hmm. He said, and I'd like to use you for my next movie. I'm working on it, and I'll get in touch with you. And I never heard from him again. I didn't know who he was, and a year went by. And then I got the call to audition, for the movie.
Mm-hmm. And I was reading, too, on IMDb that while you were getting cast for Frankenhooker, you were working as an usher.
Well, yeah, I was an usher at the Beekman Theater on the Upper East Side of New York City, and I was an usher for 5 years. Actually, I made my way up to doorman, and boy, I was a good usher. I'm gonna tell you that. And it was a great theater. I don't know if you like going to movie theaters. I haven't been. I
love it.
Years, but the theater was wonderful. It was a single screen theater with velvet seats that were like on springs, so you could sit back. It was almost like what you get today when you go into these plexes and they have these like lounge chairs.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but this was built in 1957. This theater,
Yeah, I did plenty of ushering in theaters, and I was a doorman in bars years ago. So
that means you got to throw people out.
Oh, I did. I got into a couple fights.
Listen, Tom, I don't want any trouble. Whatever you want, I'll tell you right now. You got
it. Okay, so so after Frankenhooker, you did King of New York.
That's correct. Yeah. Or was it before? I don't know. It was all around the same time. It's funny. It was like a time of my life where it just seemed like I was getting all kinds of parts. Yes, King of New York. Yes, I was told I was the first person hired in that movie. I got to meet Abel Ferrar at his loft on 14th Street, and he asked me a few questions. like, and they figure out what they're going to play later. You know what I mean? Like, instead of auditioning 20 people for the same role, you know what I mean? You kind of fit them in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gave me a part as a detective, cop, which was, I didn't have a big role, but it was fun. It was nice. And, it was a New York film. I like being associated with New York.
Is Christopher Walken intimidating?
Oh, I never worked with him. I didn't have any chance to because we weren't in any of the same scenes.
Oh, okay.
But I did work with Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh.
And one of the nicest. I mean, again, it's probably why he's such a success. I think how you treat people. I mean, I'm just some 95th banana on this movie, and he was very, like, he treated me like I was his equal. I thought I was really impressed with him. And we had a little scene where I'm hanging on the side of a car, and he rips my mask off, and he sees it's me, it's a cop, and then they veer the limousine into it, and I get impaled in a fire hydrant and killed.
Mm-hmm.
The death scene.
Mm-hmm. That is a good death scene.
I never heard of that before. Someone getting impaled in a fire hydrant.
Yeah. It sounds so New York too.
Yes, it was, and I remember the urine smell from the dog.
Yeah, that you don't forget. So then you were on a series with Valerie Harper called City.
Yeah, that was big time. Yeah.
Did you move to LA for that?
I did. I had to. They were filming it there, and I went out there. I lived there for about, I guess 6 months. And I made some really good dough from that gig, and it was a lot of fun. And, listen, I was driving onto a Hollywood lot. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
God was saying good morning, and I had a parking space with my name on it.
Nice.
We forget about the money. It's like, oh my God, this is the real deal. Like I was a real,
Mm-hmm.
And so I probably should have stayed out there in hindsight, but I've always wanted to make a film called Mr. Softy about the ice cream character. And so I made some good money, and I went back to New York and said, I'm going to make this film. And back then, what people were doing was you would shoot like a trailer, or you would shoot some scenes to try to raise money for the movie. Now, today, you make the movie for what it costs to make the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So we made this little short film. That's all I got left of it, but about a guy made out of ice cream. But it's an adult film. It's not. I mean, it's not a porno.
Yeah.
It's not like that trash Penthouse. You know what I mean? It's good. It's a nice Playboy type of movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I worked. Moved out there, but then I came back to New York to shoot my short film. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Has it ever been seen?
Yeah, it's on YouTube now. Finally, I couldn't really get it. I came very close to making it many times. As a matter of fact, the producers of Frankenhooker were very interested in it, and they were like, "Oh, let's do this," and But then after I realized that they wanted to make some changes, I was making a film about a man made out of ice cream that was dealing with a lot of psychological issues. The opening scene, he's got a prostitute coming to his house because no woman will touch him. He's too cold, and there's suicide, attempted suicide. Listen, there's a lot of adult themes in this. It's not a kids movie. And then they decided, Ice Cream Man, they wanted to make a children's film and change it around. And I should have just said, yes. And then just, that's what most people do, and then shoot what you want to shoot, But it didn't work out. But that was the first company I took it to. So next couple of years, I was all over. I mean, pitching this idea and taking meetings and, going to L.A. and back. And so still not dead yet. I'm still working on it. I may do it before I die. I might do it.
Nice. It sounds like It'd be a really funny movie. Do you have any memories of playing the upset driver in RoboCop 3?
Absolutely, yes. That was the only job I ever got in my life that I didn't have to audition for. Somebody called Fred Decker, the director.
Mm-hmm.
He's directed a number of, what did he just do? A film of his just came out. But he did Monster Squad. I mean, he did all these great films.
Night of the Creeps.
My agent or his and said, we want to hire James for this part. And I was like, oh my God, I never knew what that was like. Like, oh yes, of course I'll take the job, sure. And I got to work with Nancy Allen,
mm-hmm.
who was very, very friendly and nice, and funny because in the scene I get shot to death by the splatter punks, and so now I'm dead on the floor, on the fucking street. It's wet, it's cold, it's Atlanta, it's like the winter time.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to substitute a dummy for me, so I had to lie there all night long. Yeah, in the wet street, it was fun. I did get a cold sore, though. I remember that. A cold sore. Not from Nancy Allen. That just came, just, you know how it is.
I've met Nancy Allen at a convention. She's a sweetheart.
I agree. I only know her once. I don't know. And, I don't know. I feel like she's one of these people that, there are actors and they're, like anything else, wherever you work,
Yeah.
You meet people, whether it's in a store or whatever, and they're either assholes or they're like really sweet people. Like, you meet some of the best people like out of nowhere. And I don't know. I get that feeling from her. And there was another guy in it. I never really talked to him again, but I had such a great time with him. His name is Shane Black.
Mm-hmm.
He's a screenwriter and a producer. I don't know, but I just remember having such a great time with the guy. And
yeah.
I think when you're working together in close quarters like that, you either gravitate towards each other or you separate because you're paranoid. You know what I mean? And you're like, all right, I'm just, I got to watch out for myself, There was none of that on the set of that movie. It was very, that's the director, he sets the tone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the story from that.
It's not the same without Peter Weller, but it was okay.
Well, I never saw RoboCop. How about that? I don't know anything about any RoboCops.
Yeah, the first one's great. The second one's terrible.
I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a movie fan, to be honest with you. I watch the same movies over and over. I got 10 films on my DVR. And that's it. It's a Wonderful Life, Pain Mutiny, 12 Angry Men.
Classics.
The Mad, 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 Mad World.
Love that.
Them with the Giant Ants. I do like that one.
Yeah, that's a good
one. What I'm saying is, I didn't realize how, what I was part of, this legacy of great films,
Mm-hmm. The one role that you played that I always think of when I think of you is the role of Brett Weir in the Jerky Boys.
Yeah. I'm so surprised that I even got that part, My agent at the time, I wish I could say that. I have a manager now, but I don't have an agent. That's fine. The agent said to me, this part's perfect for you, because I grew up in Queens, New York. And the character is described as a loser from Queens. So he thought I was perfect. Loser. No. And I auditioned many times, I remember, for that. Like, it's very, it's stressful for an actor. You go and you hope you did a good job. Then they call you back and you're like, oh, wow, I'm really, and then they call you back again. And then they call you back again and you're like, what? But eventually I got it, which was good. And I met a really good friend out of that. And my friend Kamal Ahmed, he does Tarbosh.
Yeah.
He's the, by the way, you should really interview him. I'll give you his info, or I'll ask him if I can give you his info, your info to him.
I'd love to.
He's a filmmaker now. he's on his fifth feature now. His fifth feature is coming out. This isn't bullshit. This is not. This movie he's coming out is about the radicalization of a American Muslim, in how they, sort of turn them to become terrorists. But he made a film called God Has a Rap Sheet, which is about these 12 guys that get locked up one night, for various crimes, and one of the guys in jail is God. And I know it sounds far-fetched, but the guy did a great job, and he made a mafia film with William Forsythe. William Forsythe?
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, interesting guy, and I'm so glad I got to know him because he became a really good friend of mine. And he loves The Honeymooners and The Odd Couple. And there's not many people left. See, 36-year-olds like yourself, we can't talk about that. If I say to you, let's say what's that guy's name from the 50s? What would you say if I said Arthur Godfrey?
I'm not familiar with his work, but I know who he is.
Now I'm going to hang up on you. Okay, now you get hung up on. Hey, boy.
Hey, I know who Jackie Gleason and Art Carney is.
All right, well, I'll hang on for another minute.
Were you intimidated working with Alan Arkin?
Of course I was.
He's one of the greats.
Because, and another great guy. I'm sorry, I just really, I don't know. I guess I sound like a phony. I mean, I could tell you some bad stories, but I'm not going to do that. But just another really fun guy. He had fun there. Look, he knew he was making sort of a lower grade comedy,
Mm-hmm.
And he became an Oscar winner right after that. But anyway, he talked. He was just really, it was really nice being around him. He made you feel comfortable, and because you get intimidated. Of course you do.
Yeah. The scene that always has me on the floor laughing is when Alan Arkin tries to kiss William Hickey's hand and he burns his eye with the cigar.
Oh my God, that's classic Alan Arkin.
Ah, fuck shit.
He figured that out. He knows what's funny, but he's also a good actor. I mean, I've seen him do really good stuff too. But serious drama. But that's what makes him so interesting and talented. He knew that was funny. And, fuck. Yeah, it was really good. And, Brad Sullivan, I thought, was hysterical in that.
Oh, yeah.
He passed away a few years ago, but I remember going up to him, and I never do this because, actors want to be looked. And I went up to him and I said, I just want to tell you something, Mr. Sullivan. You're really funny. I just want to let you know that I think you're doing really, I'm hysterically laughing. I think you're great. And he looked at me, and there was this long pause, and he said, leg of lamb today for lunch. Meaning he already talked to the craft services people. He knew that we were having leg of lamb. I think he was completely out of his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was nice that he could control it,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, is it Brett Weir based on a guy they actually knew?
Yes, it's a real guy. I played a historical figure. Yes.
Did you ever meet the real guy?
I did not, but Kamal has told me about him many times.
He was exactly like you played him?
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't. It was more about the name, because remember these guys were making prank calls, so.
Yeah.
It was, and that was so great because everybody had a different idea about what Brett Weir looked like. If you listen to the calls, I did, and and that's what made them so funny. So it was luckily the director thought I looked like Brett Weir in his mind, what he thought Brett Weir looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it comes down to that.
Yeah,
I blow to get the part.
Man, my dad took me to see that movie when it came out. We were just laughing hysterically at it.
My, did you stay to the end to see the credits? Because that was my biggest scene, and they put me. They put it, and then everybody left the theater, and we're walking out, and here comes Brett Beer again.
Yeah, when the car is getting all demolished. Yeah.
You mean the house?
The house, I mean, yeah. The house gets all demolished. Yeah. The classic. So I was reading that just recently you had a role in the new Scorsese movie.
Yes, yeah, The Irishman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming out this year, later in the year, I think in the fall. And I hope I make it. I hope they don't cut me out. I did 3 days on it, so I'm hoping... that was another one of these things where they called and said, look, they want to offer you a role in this, but there's no real scene. And then this happens a lot. You know, Martin Scorsese likes to have a lot of people around, and then things happen on the set. You know what I mean? Like improvisation. And so, you know, we did a few things. I'm just glad I got a chance to be in a Scorsese movie.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, in the world of acting, that's like shooting heroin with Miles Davis.
Well, it's probably more like smoking crack with Lady Gaga. Take David.
Did you get to be in the same scene with Pacino or De Niro?
I had a little interaction with Pacino.
Mm-hmm.
It's one scene where it's like 1958 or 59, and he's coming to this crowd, and I shake hands with him, and we say a few words to each other. But like, you know, it was like in a big crowd, so I don't know if that's going to make it in or not. And then it's like a few years later, and some of the guys in the crowd that were with him are now running their own union locals. And, you know, now instead of dressed like as a worker, I got a suit on, you know what I mean, and the other guys, and we're, you know, I mean, I don't know if you know anything about the Hoffa story, but...
Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah, it was all, you know, these guys were, you know, not wise guys, but almost wise, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so...
Irish wise guys.
Yeah, and, boy, I'll tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big De Niro fan. I fell in love with acting and filmmaking with Martin Scorsese. I saw all his movies, and that's what really got me where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Just broke, divorced, and living in an apartment alone. But yeah, you know, when I saw Taxi Driver and Mean Streets, and this is what got me going. And as an actor, of course, De Niro. Everybody wants to emulate him, and you know. And as I got older, I realized I'm not him. I can't be him. I wanted to be him, and I got to be in a room with Al Pacino in this movie where he does a scene where he's on the phone and he blows up at us and he's screaming at us. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you right now, that guy is my new hero, not just because, you know, I forgot. I loved all this old Godfather, for Christ's sake, but Dog Day Afternoon, you know, all these films. This guy's 70 fucking 6 years. I don't know what he is. And after every take, he almost would like, you know, he's got to like sit down for a minute. And he was giving it his all. I'm talking about, I saw beads of sweat coming off, beads of spit coming off his lips, coming right out onto my lapel. And across I mean, this guy is incredible. That's all I have to say. Now, I'm not taking anything away from De Niro, but this guy takes chances and laid it all out on the line. And really something. Really something to witness. And even if I don't make it in the film or they cut me out or whatever, I got to work with him up close, and that was really interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you. So you've continued...
He was going to do Frankenhooker, and then he dropped out. And that's how I got it.
So you've continued working. You haven't really had at least a very lengthy break from it, have you?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Like, you know, I mean, you've worked steadily throughout your career.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, you haven't?
No, there's been long, horrible breaks, and I did take almost 15 years off when my daughter was born, and I had to get a real job, and I sold cars for 15 years, and made good money, and had a house and wife and family, and then that kind of went away, and this is my second stab at this. I started about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and this Scorsese thing is I did a little part on a show called Unforgettable, which was canceled, but it was a good show. I had a nice role on that, and a show called The Affair, and I'm in this movie. I don't know if it'll ever come out, but it's called The Stay, and an independent horror film that was shot here in New York, and it's in post-production,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to play owner of a haunted hotel, which was very interesting.
Wow. So your career has been ups and downs, though, but acting is your first love that you continue doing.
Yes, I would say so. When I say my first love, I don't know what you mean by that, and I look, we all have things that we do that make us feel alive or good. Now, some people like skiing, or they like to, do yoga, or they, play music. Musicians, people sing. There are people that are carpenters that love what they do, and whenever you get a chance to do what you really like to do, it's always good. And unfortunately, as acting, there's only so much you can do. I like it, so I'm drawn to it. That's the closest, I guess you could say, is getting the heroin. And it's not about making money. Well, it's not about. Well, of course, it's about making money. We want to get paid and fucking live. But when you're in a scene with someone or other people, and you may not even be saying anything, but you're part of this energy that's going on. It's like the Beatles. There's communication going on that you don't get in real life, and because it's manufactured, and you're making a new reality. It's pretty powerful. And I'm going to take another tab of acid now, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, on that note, James, I thank you so much for taking the time tonight, and this was truly hilarious. One of the funniest interviews I've ever done, I have to say.
Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Would you please send me an unedited copy of this when my father was on? I would really like to listen to that.
I'm seriously not going to edit your father out at all in this podcast.
All right. I would love to hear it then. When you're done, send me a copy.
Oh, of course I will. Of course.
All right. Well, Good luck with everything in your podcast and your career.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for not being trashy and exploitive.
You'll have a good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. James Lorinz. Ain't he a cool dude? Ain't he a funny guy? I mean, James, you are a real card. I really enjoy talking to you. You're a really funny guy, and I thank you so much for your time tonight and to meet your father as well. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we had this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.